Today on the Daily Review, we discuss a Danish-Chilean documentary that's on Hulu called The Mole Agent. That's right, with your host, Joe LaRocca. March 24th, by the way. Anyway, what's up? How is everybody doing? Is the audio working? Yeah, we're way beyond that. We're in year 2, man. The audio's always working. Well, not always. Anyway, this is a documentary that almost is so well shot and edited and well lit that you wouldn't know it was a documentary unless somebody told you. It's kind of remarkable. Very, very unique because it's kind of like a hidden documentary almost. I don't know many of these, and let's get through this, and then maybe I'll think of some of them. I want to adjust it so that bright light right there is kind of edged out. It's a better frame. Mise en scène. Okay, anyway. Okay, so what this movie's about is, excuse me, let me adjust this. Wow, you're doing bad, Joe. Okay. An agency is hiring an 80 to 90-year-old person to have them go into an old age home as a mole and investigate if there is abuse or neglect going on. So the opening first scene is interviewing a whole bunch of old people, trying to see if they got what it takes, until we settle on the guy we like. There's a lot of comedy in that beginning part, especially because they have to make sure that they're able to use lots of different modern technology to record anything that might be going wrong, like a cell phone, and he has to be able to use WhatsApp to be able to send in reports, and these glasses that have cameras in them so that if he is seeing some bad stuff going down, he can record it. And eventually, so there's some funny stuff in that, and then they settle on a guy, and he eventually, there's a lot of interesting stuff, like with that guy's family being like, wait a second, what's going on here? Can he be like get in trouble for recording people without them knowing and stuff? And they go through kind of all the legal stuff on how this is possible, and then they go to the old age home, and the people at the old age home just think that it's a documentary being made about an old age home in San Francisco. Everybody speaks Spanish. No. Oh wait. Sorry. Sorry. It's in Chile, but the woman who is like got in contact with the agency to hire somebody is in San Francisco. That's a big part of it. But I do think that the movie is a Danish production. It's all very complicated, but it is in Spanish, so there are subtitles you have to deal with if you're not that kind of person who likes to deal with it. Then TS. So he when he gets to the old age home, I'm not going to spoil this movie by any means, but and he's got to find his target, this woman Sonia. Doesn't know too much about her, and is just kind of like work his way around, and kind of just by the nature of his investigation, he becomes friends with a lot of the people and company for many of the inhabitants, that makes them sound like monsters or something, the community members of this old age home. And it's really kind of heartbreaking. The whole second act is him basically like collecting people's stories, and some of them are beautiful and some of them are tragic, and a lot of people there, have dementia issues, and most of them are lonely or have just been abandoned, basically, and they kind of don't know what's going on. And there are people who, there's one lady who always wants to get out. She feels like imprisoned and is thinking that her mom is going to come pick her up, but she's like 9,500 years old. So it's pretty heartbreaking in a lot of ways, but in some ways it's incredibly funny, and in some ways it's incredibly insightful. And a lot of the humor comes from like the spy stuff. It's not like hardcore, he's not like rappelling from the ceiling or anything. But he's given his reports and he's like essentially investigating things. But what investigating ends up being is him just hanging out with old people. He's an old person too, but just providing company, And it's really kind of beautiful. And I won't go into what the third act's about. It's a very short movie. It's like 85 minutes or something. But the third act is like, kind of where there's some tension. It's like, where is this movie going to go? And if I spoil that, then I think you just won't have any reason to watch it. But it's really, because you got to you want to find out about the abuse and stuff and where that's going. So it is a phenomenal plot. Is a phenomenal idea for a story because they're an old spy. There's so much conflict built into that because you got to be like agile and sneaky, but your body and your mind are kind of failing you. And it's just like a lot of contrasts, and you got to be able to use this like cutting edge technology, but you might be more used to, not as inclined to using like a pen that is also a camera and like sending FaceTime messages and all sorts of stuff like that is like not in your wheelhouse. But that doesn't mean you're useless by any means. In fact, you're incredibly useful because of all the knowledge you have and your ability to interpret observation and stuff like that can be, especially if you're if you still have all your faculties, can be the best on earth. You're the most experienced in a lot of ways, which in a lot of ways would make you the best spy. So yeah, it's fantastic. I'm sure they'll do a remake with like Morgan Freeman or something and Jack Nicholson, and it'll be a fucking joke. But because they'll make it it'll be like crazy. It'll be like, we're eating the old people. They're turning the old people into robots, or they're turning them into batteries for Tesla. Did you know that how much copper there is in the human life? Like, yeah, that'll be the human crucible in the basement that separates your body into all of its different elements, and which sells the valuable ones needed to make precious computer chips. Isn't that, what's that? Aren't we at a helium shortage? We're in like such a crazy shortage of like so many elements and stuff. Because we use them in computers kind of willy-nilly. Yeah, but helium is something that I was just hearing about, that we like don't have much helium left because it's like a byproduct of fracking or something. There's a limited amount, and we shouldn't be putting it in balloons. So, watch The Mole Agent and don't buy helium balloons. They're bad for the environment on many levels, not just the choking dolphins thing. That's a 1 in a million thing. The more important thing is the precious gas. Because it only goes up. It just goes up forever. We never get it back. Okay, what am I talking about? Where does it go? It must still stay up in the atmosphere. It must be the topmost layer of the atmosphere. Must be helium, right? Or hydrogen, probably. Somebody get back to me on that one. But I wonder, we'll find some way of collecting it. You know what I can't wait till we figure out how to do is send a drone to an asteroid to mine the asteroid for all of its precious minerals and then send it back. That's going to be sweet. Moonrock Diamond, that'll be the next bling. Anyway, cool. Yeah, this movie, it's a little bit slow going, even though because it's about an old age home. You don't expect a lot of fast-paced stuff, and you'll probably just cry the whole time. Yeah, oh, that's right. It all goes back to the moon. The moon is made mostly of helium. What? The moon's weird. Okay. All right. We're a little bit off topic. Yeah. I recommend this movie. It's on Hulu, by the way. I think I said that already. It's the first like 15 minutes are funny enough to kind of pull you through the rest of the movie because it does get, I just found it like kind of depressing in the middle. I was like, oh, where are we going here? This is just kind of like, it's just like too real. But yeah, it's an important movie. And it's, the reason I did it is because it's like, it's nominated for an Oscar for Best Documentary. And it's one I want to make sure I see as many Oscar movies as I can, for that is my March Madness. And I'd like to be able to fill that bracket out properly. The bracket I did for F Zappa's channel is pretty. It's actually, I'm doing okay, but I also did one where I just randomly clicked like fill it out for me, and I'm in like the 92nd percentile on that one. It's like, god dang it. The one where I picked it based on funny names and stuff. Anyway, the people I have winning it in both, I have Michigan in one and Tennessee in the other, and they're both still in it. Anyway, that's been a Sports Minute with Joe. Yeah, we don't treat old people very well. We should treat them better. We should respect our elders more, and spend time with them. You know, they're people, and they have meaningful stories and insightful wisdom and poetry to share with you. And also having work makes having a goal, like you lose the meaning of life. You lose the joie de vivre, I should say, when you don't have a purpose, you know. So like you got to like make sure you have a reason to get up every day, and that will like extend the longevity of your life. That's what I'm trying to say. So like, our main character wants to do this because he's recently lost his wife, and it gives him something to do to makes him feel like a man, not like a man, but like a person again, as opposed to just like a liability on somebody, and it clearly helps his health mentally and physically. So yeah, I do recommend it. It's not like the most fun movie ever, but you know, it's it's a good double feature with this and Zack Snyder's Justice League. One's 4 hours and some change, and one's 80 minutes. One's about kind of has just crazy nonsense and aliens and stuff, and one's about like all of our inevitable lonely deaths. But you will laugh. It's never too late to become a spy. Booyah. There will be an American remake for sure, especially if it wins Best Documentary. I don't know. I don't think I've seen many of the other ones, or any. I'll have to check on that. Yeah, don't worry. We'll obviously deal with that when it gets closer to the Oscars. They'll be weird this year, just like everything. But okay, let's see what we have going in the music department. I have a patch set up, so let's see if it's any good. Start with the drums. There's no sound at all. I broke it. What happened? Oh, here we go. central position. It connects to frightening levels. And when you're tampering, it spins on overdrive. Mind creates this nervous condition. It binds you into total submission. You don't see how it works, and you're dancing madly out of time, wanting to return to central position. The same voice in every commercial, counting down my time. That there was a song from Guided by Voices album, Warp and Wolf. The song is called Time Remains in Central Position. When I was driving in the car today, I thought I could probably sing that song. So then I tried to program in the drum beat into the OPZ, and I couldn't figure it out. I don't know enough about actual music, so I was trying to like put it in, and I couldn't get the time signature right. It's because I think it's just like a little sloppy. So I did that as an experiment to myself. You know, like when you sing in the shower and you think it sounds pretty good. I did that to see how it sounds through the microphone and like kind of just a cappella. Although I was listening to it on the headphones. So we'll see. Twin Peaks. This channel is underrated. That's a good thing, though. Think about what the things that are rated highly. They all suck. Seriously. Think about all the things that people like having babies. Or like killing animals. Well, some of them are tasty. Anyway, thank you very much, Twin Peaks. I think your show is underrated, even though people love it. Why does it sound like there are bees after me? Isn't it? Oh no, the synth bees are coming for me. Remember that episode of Dark Mirror with the bees? The bees, not the bees. Oh, one last thing. So, let me get rid of the bees. Bees, you no longer exist because we've killed the planet. Go away. Okay, the bees are gone. Okay, so, I wonder what the lyrics of that song mean. Time remains in central position. It connects on frightening levels. And when you're tampering, it spins on hyperdrive. The mind creates this nervous condition. It binds you into total submission. And you don't see how it works. And they're dancing madly out of time, wanting to return to central position. And the same voice in every commercial, counting down my time. This dude put out, I counted, he put out 158 tracks since the beginning of 2019. They've always been one of my favorite bands, but the albums that they've put out since like 2000, please be honest, right around that time when they came back. Like, this is GBV 3.0 if you're following along, and my God, it's so good again, especially the past few albums. This one, Warp and Wolf, and which is a terrible title, and Mirrored Aztec. Holy crap on a dog's face! It's so friggin' good. Oh, and I got in contact with their manager to see if he would come on the show, and I said, I got a friend of the show who you might know him, and his older brother played basketball, and I mentioned Kevin and stuff, and the guy said that Robert doesn't have a cell phone, he doesn't do Zoom interviews, he doesn't do computers. But that he would pass along the message. And I went, wow, that's cool. It's like, well, we like you, bro. Thanks. Anyway, the thing I wanted to say was that Red Letter Media, the channel the other like movie review channel that I like, they did kind of a recap of Zack Snyder's whatever. And we said many of the same things, and it made me very happy because I recorded mine first. That's right, baby. And they got 1.75 billion jillion subs. But they're funny, and they edit stuff, and they have shows, and there's more than one person. And they're fatter. Fat people do well on YouTube. What am I talking about? Okay, I've lost my mind, of course. I'm going to say goodbye, and I will talk to you tomorrow.